Assalamu alaikum, this is SaqibSaab, and these are my Ramadan Chronicles for 2011, day 22. For day 22, I wanted to talk about funerals and janazahs and death and the effect it has on us, but kind of more so the dependency we have on tragic events. Recently in the masjid here, there was a passing of an uncle, rahimahullah, may Allah have mercy on him, and there was a janazah prayer. It was during the weekend. All the community members showed up. We went there for the Dhuhr prayer, and then afterwards the janazah, we prayed it, and then the body was taken for burial in a nearby cemetery. And afterwards, people had the reflections. It's sad to see the family. He left behind kids that are my age, a little older, younger even. Like there's one brother who's his son I've been talking to. He's a really good guy. He's in high school, so it's sad, and it makes you reflect on death. And when you see someone being buried or having a funeral prayer prayed on them in front of you, you realize that you're going to go too, and it starts to bring a rush of reflections and emotions and all that stuff that you should have. But when I started seeing stuff on Facebook about, oh, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, and, this is a reminder for us, and God is testing us, so on and so forth, I started to think about the fact that maybe some of us, at least myself, are dependent on these type of things to get that feeling, to the point where, every time something tragic happens, like a funeral, or, a loved one passes away, or some sort of like tragedy or event, like a natural disaster or something, that's the only time that we really, really feel sad, or we start to reflect, or our heart starts to soften. But I think we should be people that are always in the mode where things will soften our hearts, right? Especially the whole issue, right, unrelated to this, kind of moving something towards more positive, is Ramadan and Quran. During the rest of the year, it's really difficult for me to have that same type of feeling, right? But during Ramadan, it's a lot easier going to the masjid. There's more Quran. There's reminders in the masjid, and all over Facebook people are talking about Ramadan and sharing hadith and videos and all this good stuff. But then after Ramadan, it just dies away. Now, to be fair, Ramadan's a special time, and that's the time when people are just more spiritual. But I'm talking about the whole dependency thing. I don't want to be somebody where during Ramadan I really kick it up a notch, but I need Ramadan only, right? Or I need a sheikh to come give a talk for me to get in the mode. Or I need after the talk for someone to give like a really emotional dua for me to start making my own dua, or for me to have tears coming from my eyes. I should be in a way where I'm not depending on these things 100%, right? These things always help. It's nice to hear like a motivational talk, or it's nice to go through Ramadan or go through Eid or whatever it is, right? Especially Hajj too. Right? For Hajj, it was amazing. Nothing's going to compare to those things, but I shouldn't be dependent on them. And that's what I felt going to the janazah, that, it's sad and you start to think about death, but should I be dependent on them, and meaning to the point where only when those things happen, that's when I start to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? At the same time, the Prophet ﷺ said you should go to the graveyards. It'll help you reflect. Those things will always help you. But the whole point I'm trying to make is I don't want to be dependent on it to the point where I absolutely need these things only, and that's the only time that I remember God and I turn back to Him. So that's my reflection I had from a janazah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on the deceased, to grant him and his family the highest levels of Jannah, to make sure that he enters Jannah, paradise, without any accountability, without any punishment. And for all the Muslims who passed away this Ramadan, and in past Ramadans, and upcoming Ramadans, and any other month throughout the year, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask God on high to have mercy on them, to forgive them. And inshallah, let me know if you've had any reflections when you're praying janazah this year during Ramadan, what thoughts went through your mind. And inshallah, I'll talk to you guys later. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.